I'm so nervous to film this episode for y'all. The streets is not for me. We're always like, oh my gosh, what is life next? Never want to be in a relationship again. I don't want to be in love anymore. Hi, what's your favorite color? Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Unscripted with Anna. And today it's just me alone. Actually, so nervous to film this episode for y'all. This is my second time filming this episode. So today's topic is relationships part 2. I'm kind of happy I'm like refilming it because when I posted that podcast episode, the whole idea was I had hoped that it would have at least resonated with one person. And I didn't realize that it resonated with a lot of persons. And my DMs were literally flooded with messages about like relationship and like how did I find my person and a lot. So I am definitely not a relationship guru, but I've been through it. Like I have been through it. I could literally count on my hands, like this hand alone, how much serious relationships I've ever been in. But I have dated and the streets is not for me. I absolutely hated dating. So a little rewind. I have been cheated on a lot. I have been in probably the most toxic relationships ever. And it was only as I got older, and also when I started therapy 3 years ago, I realized that a lot of things that I was settling for or allowing was not normal. And it was just simple things like your partner not being supportive of your dreams, or your partner is talking down on you, or you are the one always pouring into the relationships and to someone else's dream, but they are not reciprocating that for you. Or your partner telling you what you should wear and where you should go, and being upset like when you go lime, or is like sick when you're going out with friends, or just constantly like questioning what you're doing and trying to change who you are. Like it was just simple things like that I thought was normal in a relationship. I thought, oh, maybe because like he's telling me what to wear, like he really cares about me. When I go out, like, and he's jealous, like he cares, he loves me. Or love bombing. Like I didn't know love bombing was a thing and that it was happening to me until I started to learn about it. So like showering me with gifts and affection and calling me down and messaging me down, and if I go missing for like an hour, tons of messages, like those things are not normal at all. So all of that to say, things that we think are normal sometimes is not normal. And also just to like be very open-minded about certain situations. And I was a very trusting person, like super trusting, to the point sometimes where I wouldn't ask questions, and I thought maybe by asking questions meant that I didn't trust the person, or that I wasn't allowed to ask questions. So even in situations where I wanted to ask questions, I just didn't. Like I turned a blind eye, and I paid the price for it in the end. So it was just like me not realizing I lost my voice was also a clear sign that red flag, run. But I'm not really here to just like talk about that, because that's tough, and we all have to go through, I guess, some sort of heartbreak until we find that person, and it absolutely sucks. Like I agree, being heartbroken, being cheated on, being just talked down on, those things are not nice. I had reached a point last year where I was just like, I never want to be in a relationship again. I don't want to be in love anymore. Like it's not for me. I also had reached the point where I was just like, yuck, I hate dating. How are we doing this? So I really have to start all over again with, hi, what's your favorite color? What's your middle name? No, I hated it. Like, yuck, gross. But then I came to the realization when I went through my breakup last year, and I spoke about it in the other podcast, but I want to touch on it more, that when I was there on that beach and I was reflecting on everything, I was like, breakups aren't bad. When you date someone and also it doesn't work out, like, that's not bad. That's actually a blessing, because now you're another step closer to finding your significant other. You are able now to walk away from something that no longer serves you, a person that no longer serves you, or at that point you think they're making you happy, but then when you really look back and you really think, why didn't this relationship work out? And you see your flaws, because again, no one person is perfect. You also come to the realization that there were a lot of things you were settling for just to be happy, just to find that person, just to find that significant other. And it had a point where I had also come to the realization that I was just settling for whatever I got. And it made me realize that I just didn't have the self-esteem that I had and the love and the respect for myself to really be like, hey Anna, like, you deserve so much more. You need to leave this situation and really put that energy back into yourself. And then I realized that, hey, being alone and learning life again is so much better than just being trapped, feeling stuck in a box. Because at a point in time I felt like I was stuck in a box, and nobody should ever have to feel trapped in a box at all. And from the minute that relationship ended, I had achieved so many things. I was able to like look back on what I had achieved in that year. Like, I landed one of my dream jobs, and at the time when I got that dream job, I didn't really celebrate it. You know, it was downplayed. And I was like, wow, like, look at that. Like, something that little Anna would have been so proud of, you didn't really celebrate. Like birthdays, it was just like simple things like that and milestones that I was like, wow. And when I was able to go to New York and see the Rockefeller tree, like something that was on my bucket list for years, in that moment I was like, things definitely had to fall apart for better to happen. And like I always tell my friends, there's the beauty in the break-in, because at that point when everything had happened, I had come to like find like my true friends and people that I didn't expect to be there for me. I was able to ask for help, something that I would never really do, or like open up about certain things. Like, I'm the type of person to bottle things up. And I started to see breakups and relationships feeling as actually a blessing and a good thing. And I think that's something extremely important, because we often think that when a relationship falls apart, like it's the end of the world, and it's actually the start of a whole new chapter and a beautiful world, and life is just there waiting for us. And I'm not saying that every single day is going to be great. You're going to have your good days and your bad days, and definitely for me, I had my bad days, not in the sense that I had missed the person, but I was dealing with a lot of trauma. And I'm not saying that where I am right now is like the best. I'm still doing a lot of work on my trauma, but it was like one day at a time. I had my moments where certain things would trigger me, or certain things, like when I started to date people, like certain behaviors would trigger me. And I, at that point, was great, because I was like, perfect, this is something I'm not going to settle for. Like, no offense, but like, bye, red flag. But I was able to become more self-aware, and I think that's such a blessing and something you should definitely look into when you do go through a breakup or like a failed dating phase. And I was able to also realize that where I went wrong in my last relationship to prevent it from happening in my next relationship. And it's just so funny, because the person that I'm with right now, I didn't expect us to be where we are now. And it just happened, like the face say, when you're least looking for it, when you least expect it. But what is amazing is that I had a friendship with this person for years. So the fact that we had a friendship going into this now, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm with my best friend like every single day, which is a feeling I never really had. And I was like, yeah, this is what they talk about when they're like, when you're with your person, it's like they're your best friend. You could go to them to anything. You have that friendship, you know, which I think is extremely important and should be the foundation of any relationship, because you know this person, and even being with them, you get to know that other side of them as well. I'm rambling, sorry. I'm getting super comfortable on this chair if you're watching, but we're just having a girl talk here. But I'm saying all of this to say that when you do go through a breakup, it's okay. Be proud of yourself for working out, because it's something we're always like, oh my gosh, what is life next? Like, how do I start over? How do I rebuild my life? But something that seriously helped me, I made a list. I made a list of all the things that I wanted to achieve and that I had achieved for that entire year. And I wrote it down. But then I also made a list of what are the things Anna loves doing. And I started to do that every single day. If it was like the simplest thing, like getting coffee, meeting up with a friend, going to a party, simple things like that, to just relearn my life without this person and any memories attached to them. The thing I want you to never do is settle for less than you deserve. In the end, and I always tell my friends this, you allow people to treat you the way you want to be treated. You have the control over that. So if someone is not treating you nicely, you could easily cut that person off. Whatever you accept, it's on you. Like, literally, you are in control of your life and the people in your life. And that's such a blessing, to be honest. And that's something we should remember in any relationship. From the moment someone is not speaking to you the way you'd like to be spoken to, that person, again, like, you have to change in order for this person to love you and treat you like an equal, and sacrifice who you are as a person and your morals. Then that person is not the one, because again, the person that you're with is gonna love you for you and you alone. And I'm not saying that people don't change, because people do change in a relationship, but they're not supposed to change for the worse. They're actually supposed to change for the better. And if your partner is not uplifting you and pushing you and motivating you and being there for you, but is actually doing the opposite, then that person is not healthy for you. And one thing I have noticed in this whole process is to pick up on those red flags now. And from the moment you spot a red flag, run. Don't say, well, I don't want to start all over again, so I'm gonna just ignore that red flag, because hopefully it could change. It's not, baby girl, and it's actually gonna get worse. Speaking from experience. But yeah, I'm not a guru in this, like I said. And there's no book to it. But also, if you've been through a lot of trauma, I would suggest therapy to work through that trauma and really sit down and see what it is that has you attracted to these men. And even like the type of men, because sometimes you notice there's a cycle or a group that you always are attracted to. And for me, mine was being attracted to emotionally unavailable men. Again, therapy was able to help me realize why I was attracted to certain people and why I was settling for less than I really deserved. And from the moment I was able to pinpoint that and work on that solution, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulder and rose-colored glasses removed. I'm not saying I'm perfect and that I have it all figured out now, because we're humans, but I am more self-aware. So therapy definitely helped me in that process. And I always tell people, like, when they come to me, or like they're stuck in a situation, I'm like, if you genuinely don't know the answer to this problem, speaking to your friends is great. Speaking to ChatGPT, because that's another thing, and like seeing it all over. And I just want to touch on that, where people are like, oh, they're speaking to ChatGPT and whatever. That's not an actual human. That's a robot, sure. But that time that you invest in there to actually sit down and talk to a therapist and work through your problems is so much more healthier. and makes more sense, and it's actually the better route versus sitting down and typing on a computer everything out. It's great. It's kind of equivalent to writing a journal, but actually sitting down to someone who is qualified in this and unpacking to an actual human being versus a computer and positive, it's gonna help you and get you out of a situation. But I know it's heartbreaking, and I know sometimes we lose hope and we're like, a person is not out there, but everybody actually has a person. It might take some time for some persons, but I promise when you do find that person, it's definitely going to be worth it in the end. Just don't lose hope. It takes time, but while you are waiting to find that person, work on yourself. Work on yourself so much so that when your person comes into your life, you are so great that you are able to be a way better partner that you would have been, and that you'll be ready for that kind of commitment. Because I always say that we don't meet the person that we're meant to meet until we're ready for them, and certain things don't happen to us until we're actually ready for them. But when you constantly feel like, oh, someone is rejecting me, like why these men keep rejecting me or these women keep rejecting me, really stop for a moment and it's like, why do I feel like this? What is causing this? And sometimes it don't have to be like a past relationship. It could be actually childhood wounds. There is something that your inner child actually needs at that point. And once you really tap into these things, and that's why I always tell people, like, relationships is just so much more than what we see, people happy and in love and whatever. It's like so much ground and in-depth work, and you first need to be fully healed and mentally in that space in order for a relationship to work. And if your partner is not equal and able to meet you to that standard, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, especially if they're not open to meet you there. So before I wrap up, I just want to say, don't ever lose hope while you wait on your significant other to come around, because that person does in fact exist. Work on yourself, really do that inner work, and tap into what can make you a better partner for when you do find that person. And last but not least, don't give up. Don't give up. Fill your cup up. Fill yourself with love and love yourself the way that you love, and give love so freely to other people. Put it back into you. It's you that no matter what, you will find that person. And if you do have trauma that you can't work through, therapy is the best option. But take it one day at a time, and definitely do not settle for less than you deserve. Just know that you're in fact a prize, and that you are so, honestly, whoever gets you will be so blessed because you're an amazing person. And just because a relationship did not work out does not mean that you are not lovable and that you're not worthy and that you are not a blessing in anyone's life. Because I promise you, people are reflections of themselves, not of you. So don't ever blame yourself for a failed relationship. So yeah, I honestly hope that this episode would have helped you, give you the courage, give you the motivation, take time to heal. No one is saying that you always have to be dating someone or being with someone, and that having a significant other makes you successful or better than anyone, because some people are just happy being single. I have some friends who are just so happy being single and by themselves, and they are equally as happy as some of my friends are in happy, healthy relationships. So don't ignore the red flags. I hope this episode was extremely helpful for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify. That's the only way that we can keep on growing. And stay tuned for more episodes. Until next time, bye guys.